So with the league decided, with the relegation battle decided, it only really leaves those European spots open. Welcome to week 33 in the Premier League. Afternoon everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome to week 33 in the Premier League. With the title decided, with relegation all but done, I think the focus now turns onto those Champions League spots. It's 3 out of 5 between Forest, Newcastle, Villa, Chelsea and Manchester City. But do Bournemouth fans still think they have a chance? If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new to the Footy network. If you want to grab me a coffee, you can scan that QR code as well. And let's jump into the first game. The BTEC Stadium in West London will kick us off this weekend as Brentford will take on Brighton. And both these teams are very close to declaring themselves on the beach. You would argue Brentford more so than Brighton. Brentford sitting 11th in the table and Brighton 10th. But Brighton are literally driving themselves to the sandy shores because they have no win in the last 4, 2 defeats and 2 draws, and have seen them going from Champions League contention and just falling completely out the race. If they want a shot at some form of European football, then they're going to have to buck their ideas up and they're definitely going to need to win this one. Brentford, on the other hand, on 43 points, top of the table, although it's the bottom half. Very, very slim chance of European football for me. I'm saying they're on the beach right now. With their away form outshining their home form in the second half of the season, can they turn that home form around? They themselves have no win in the last 3 with a loss and 2 draws, and therefore are literally playing for nothing. But I don't think Brighton have it enough. I think Brighton have played themselves out, punched themselves, so to speak, into the corner, the rope-a-dope, and are out cold. But I'm going to go for a boring draw here. I'm going to go Brentford 1, Brighton 1. Brighton, though, if you want Europe, get your act together and quickly. The London Stadium will see this relegation 6-pointer between West Ham United and Southampton. And yes, Southampton are already declared as relegated, but they are fighting because they must fight to beat that Derby record. Currently sitting on 10 points, holding up everyone above them. They need 1 more point to level it and 2 to, well, break it, unbreak it. I don't know what you would call that. West Ham are stinking the place out though right now. They've lost, drawn, lost, drawn, lost. With that pattern, you would expect the next one to be a draw. And has Harry Potter actually made any difference at all to them? Because they're sitting 17th in the table. Still not mathematically safe from relegation, but it would take a minor miracle for that to happen. But I'm here for it. Look, there's not much on the line on this game apart from Derby's record. So I'm going to say Southampton 2, West Ham 1. I'm maybe more in hope than expectation on this one, but maybe Southampton being relegated. They were 0-0 at halftime with Villa last week, playing a bit more freedom against an absolutely dead West Ham team. Come on, you Saints, you can break this record or unbreak it. Whatever way round it is. Goodison Park will see the next game as Everton host Manchester City. And this is an Everton team that are comfortably on the beach right now. They're not in danger of relegation and a very, very low percentage chance of Europe. However, they did not play like they were on the beach when they went to the City ground last week and took a 1-0 victory against Forest. And at Goodison, they have been pretty solid. That defence, I like it. I've got to say, Moyes is doing a very good job for them. That late winner with Doucouré, the solid performance they put in. This will be a hard game for Manchester City. In fact, if the table started when Moyes came in, Everton would be 6th in the league. However, Manchester City are fighting tooth and nail to get into those Champions League spots. Currently holding the final position in 5th, they will need a win on this one. But with Kevin De Bruyne saving them against Crystal Palace last week when they nearly went 3-0 down, and he was able to manufacture and turn that game around, Man City are not in the greatest form, in my opinion. But it's all about results at the moment. but it's different kind of air at Goodison. I can see an upset here. I'm going to go Everton 1, Manchester City 0. I just got a feeling with that huge solid defence that Everton have got, they can pull off a bit of an upset. Or at least I hope they can. What do you guys think? Selhurst Park is the next location as Crystal Palace take on Bournemouth. And Crystal Palace could still push for European football, although they're sitting 12th in the league, which seems to be where they always are. They still do have 3 wins and a draw in their last 5. Obviously, at the time of recording this, they haven't played Newcastle yet. Come on, you Eagles. But Bournemouth, on the other hand, have turned it around finally and got their first win in the last 5 games, beating Fulham by 1-0, pushing them back up to 8th and in potential European contention for the likes of the Europa Conference, etc. But that team still looks very tired to me, and it's against a Fulham team that goes win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So, can they sustain it? Selhurst Park is a tricky ground to go to, with Eze performing wonders at the moment for Palace and Mateta as well bagging in the goals again. I think it's going to be a home win. I think it's going to be Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 0. I just can't stomach the idea of that crappy 11k stadium being in Europe next season. But do you guys think Bournemouth make Europe? Let me know in the comments. Villa Park in the West Midlands is our next destination as Aston Villa take on Newcastle, and this is a huge game, arguably the biggest game of the weekend. Newcastle currently sitting 4th, obviously not playing Crystal Palace yet at time of recording this, and Villa sitting 7th in the league with only 2 points separating the two teams, minus the Crystal Palace game. How does this one go? Villa have just crashed out of the Champions League after a semi-decent heroic / whatever you want to call it performance against PSG. But Villa's form after European football is stinky. I think they've only beaten like Southampton twice or something and lost most of the games after a European night. So Villa have to win. Villa have got a tough run in. Newcastle have to win. They've got an easier run in than Villa, but still will be quite tricky. But Newcastle have those points in the bag. Which way does this go? And what do I need as a Forest fan? I don't know, because I need to know what happens against Crystal Palace and Newcastle. So without thinking about that, I'm going to go Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 2. I think it's going to be a draw. Villa's home form is very good this season, but will that European night weigh heavily on them? And Newcastle are currently flying in the league. 4 wins on the bounce. Champions League football looking bound for St. James's again. This one's going to be a tight match. I don't know how it goes. 2-2 for me. Portman Road in East Anglia is the next stop as Ipswich will host Arsenal. And Ipswich were oh so close to beating Chelsea last weekend. However, Chelsea haven't beaten them this season at all. Ipswich were 2-0 up. They could have done it, should have, but didn't quite get it over the line and ended up drawing. Yes, that may give them a lifeline still, but they are all but mathematically relegated at the moment in the Premier League. But I think they're playing okay and somewhat decent football, and I think they'll play with no pressure on them against Arsenal in this game. Arsenal, on the other hand, are going to Madrid with a 3-0 lead. If they've lost this by the time you're watching, you must, Arsenal. You must. But I've seen their form dip in the league as their focus has clearly and fully, and probably rightfully so, turned to the Champions League. 2 draws in their last 2 games. And they think they're safe in this top 5 race. But I think if they're not careful, they could be sucked back into it. Currently sitting 6 points ahead of Forest, but this league can change very, very quickly. I'm going to go Ipswich 1, Arsenal 1. I can see a draw here. The Tractor Boys in East Anglia, in Ipswich, will want a result and be up for this against Arsenal. So I'm going for a draw. Old Trafford in Manchester will see the next game as Manchester United host Wolves in this relegation 6-pointer match. And Manchester United are still stinking out the house, holding 4 to Newcastle last week. And look, an absolute mess. With Rasmus Højlund potentially being one of the biggest flops I've ever seen in the Premier League, and Manchester United paying over 70 million for him. Is he ever going to score again? With Xerxes out with a hamstring injury, with United waiting only on that European trophy, or their run should I say, in the Europa League, their season is done. But could they get sucked into a relegation fight? Oh my God, please let it happen. Wolves, on the other hand, are absolutely flying. 4 W's in a row, 5 undefeated in the league, pulling themselves ahead of of West Ham. And with this game, if the goal difference swing is good enough, could overtake Manchester United. There is a scenario where United could be 17th come the end of this game week. I'm going for an away win here. I'm going to go Manchester United 1, Wolves 3. Because I think Cunha will get a goal, because what a player he is. Manchester United, you're still in trouble. Craven Cottage will see the West London derby as Fulham will take on Chelsea. And Chelsea are in a dogfight, having drawn with Ipswich in their last game. They look like they have the hardest run-in when it comes to these Champions League fighting positions. And where the hell is Cold Palmer, man? Because he literally has gone ice cold to the point of he's frozen. He has been stinking it out so far this season. Fulham, on the other hand, are going win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Which would mean the next game surely is a W. But they say that form goes out the window when it comes to derby matches. I just think Chelsea are stinking it up way too much right now. And under Marco Silva, he can always craft himself a win. So I think I'm going to go for a home win here. I'm going to go Fulham 2, Chelsea 1. I think that pattern continues with Fulham, and I can see Chelsea not making Champions League this season. Who gets the top 5 in your opinion? Let me know in the comments. King Power Stadium will see Leicester City take on Liverpool, and Liverpool are literally 2 wins away from being officially crowned as this season's Premier League winners. However, are Leicester going to show some form now? Because after 100 years of waiting for a goal, they got 2 against Brighton, and even more than that, they got a point. But they're still 19th, and they're still going down. Mavrididi, though, fair play to him, got his goal. Yes, it deflected back to him, and it deflected off the keeper and in, but I'm sure Leicester fans will take a goal any way they can see it. Liverpool just about got over the line last weekend. Own goal put them level 1-1 against West Ham, and then Virgil van Dijk had to step up very late on to get the winner from a corner. And I think Liverpool have done the title. I mean, it's been over for a while, hasn't it? But Leicester, I'm sorry to say, I see you going back to zeros in that goal scoring column. So I'm going to go Leicester City 0, Liverpool 3. Liverpool are on the parade lap now. It's all done and dusted. And Leicester, say hello to Derby in the Championship. Tottenham Stadium will see the final game of this week as Spurs will take on Forest. Forest lost to Everton last week. Forest lost to Villa the week before. Forest currently are sitting 3rd, but at the time you're watching this, they may not be. Forest, by the time they kick a ball, could be as low as 6th or 7th in the table. Forest need to sort it out. Spurs, on the other hand, are all about that Europa League position. They need that trophy to salvage something out of their season, and Ange needs it to save his job. Because if he loses and goes out, he is done. I hope Spurs win, because I don't want to see a manager bounce on this one. Nuno, going back to his old stomping ground, needs to sort it out, needs to get back into that winning mentality. That mentality that saw Forest holding 3rd position solely from about, December time until now. They haven't been moved. Depending on what Newcastle have done, obviously I don't know, because I can't see into the future. How do I see this one going? I honestly have no idea. It depends on what happens with Spurs against Frankfurt. It depends on how Nuno's got the Forest players fired up. And it depends on... I don't know. I'm just going to give you what I want to see. This isn't a prediction. This is hopium. Spurs 1, Forest 3. If Forest can do that, say hello to that Champions League theme back at the City ground. Because we still got to play Leicester, so we're fine. But I don't know. This is Forest. And Forest could do Forest things. But Spurs are crap. I'll hold on to that. And that's your 10 games for this week. Let me know what your predictions are in the comments down below. I really want to know who you think wins that top 5 race in the Premier League. Who's going to miss out? Get all your comments in below. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the Footy Network if you are new here. If you want to grab me a coffee, you can scan that QR code. And we'll see you on the next video. Have a great weekend and good luck to your teams.